Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning about angles, okay? And under angles, we'll be learning about angles between lines, okay? So angles between lines. And as the lesson progresses, if you don't understand anything comes of us unclear, be sure to contact your tutor who would be more than happy to help. And yeah, let's jump right into the lesson. So angles between lines. Now, in the last lesson, we talked about angles. We learned that angles serve as a measure of rotation, and basically we learned the different types of angles. And now we're going to learn about certain properties of angles between lines. Okay, and basically the first of which we have adjacent angles on a straight line. So adjacent angles on a straight line. So we have angles apparently on a straight line, and these angles are adjacent, and there is a relationship between these angles, and we're about to find out what exactly that is. So now I have this straight line, okay, and I'm going to label this straight line AB, okay, AB, line AB, and then I'm going to draw another line, okay, and this line would intersect AB at point O. Now this line has formed two angles, okay, angles I'm going to call the end there C, and this line has formed two angles, the first of which we have angle AOC. Okay, so basically if you look at it, you have an angle formed with 3 points, so point A, point O, and point C. So AOC, angle AOC. And we also have another angle BOC. So you look at it, it's an angle formed with the points B, O, and C. So BOC. Now, what I tell you is there is a relationship between these angles, okay, and what I'm going to draw another line here, okay. So we have another line, line AB, okay, and if you recall from the last lesson, I remember telling you that a full rotation is 360 degrees, okay, full rotation 360 degrees. So if you start at point A and you go all the way, you rotate all the way and you get back to point A, you would have gone 180 degrees. That a full circle is 180 degrees. Now if you look at what you have on a line, okay, so you're going from point A to point B, you rotate from point A to point B, you notice we actually have a semicircle, okay, or half a circle. All right, and what this is we have 180 degrees, i.e. half of 360. Now what is the implication of this? What's the relevance of what we have here? Now if you compare these two diagrams together, I believe you would agree with me that angle AOC, so moving from point A all the way to point B, so moving from point A to point C, then from C to B, angle AOC plus BOC would give you 180 degrees. Quite simply, AOC plus BOC equals 180 degrees, and that is the relationship between adjacent angles on a straight line. Now we have another one. We call this one vertically opposite angles, okay. So I have this line here. I'm going to label this line AB, and what I have is I have another line, okay, another line, and I'm going to call this line CD, okay. So two lines intersecting at point O. Now we're formed four angles basically from this intersection, and we're going to have two that are opposite, okay, they are opposite each other basically from this. And what I tell you is that by virtue of the fact that these two angles are formed from the exact same lines, okay, so with lines AB and CD, so we have the same lines intersecting to form these two angles, and they are opposite each other, okay, you can go ahead and say that angle AOC, the angle on the left, equals angle BOD, the angle on the right, okay, by virtue of the fact that these two angles are formed by the exact same lines intersecting at the point O, the exact same lines CD and AB intersecting at point O. The angle AOC, vertically opposite angles, and BOD are equal. Similarly, angle AOD and BOC are equal. Okay, so basically you have the vertically opposite from the left to right. In the same manner, the angles at the top and at the bottom are also equal. Now we have one final property. Okay, we have angles at a point. Now I have this diagram here, and basically I have 4 lines and they're all intersecting at a point O. Okay, so I have a line coming from A, coming from D, coming from B, and coming from C, and they're all intersecting at point O. Okay, so we have, and as a result we formed 4 angles. Okay, and these angles are occurring at the point O. Now if you recall, I told you that a full rotation, that's a full rotation. So if you're moving from point A and you're rotating all the way back to point A, you rotate through 360 degrees. Now what this tells you is that the total sum of all the angles that we formed so far, i.e. angle AOD, angle BOC, angle BOD, angle DOB, angle BOC, and angle COA would equal 360 degrees. So pretty much every angle that you form there, all of them going from point A back to point A, you actually end up with 360 degrees. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know about solving angles between lines. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and solve some examples. I have example 1. And example 1 says, solve for the lettered angle in the figure below. Okay, so we have this, we have a line AB, and we have the point C, and we have a line cutting across line AB at point O, and we'll form 2 angles as a result. We have angle M and 57 degrees, and we've been asked to solve for the lettered angle, i.e. angle M, and we'll just go ahead and do that. Now what we have here is we have adjacent angles on a straight line. Okay, and what that would tell you is that AOC plus BOC would equal 180 degrees, i.e. AOC plus 57 degrees, or M plus 57 degrees, would equal 180 degrees. So AOC would equal 180 degrees minus 57 degrees, and what you have in the end is you have 123 degrees. Simple. So M in this case is 123 degrees. Now let's do another example. Example 2. And example 2 says, solve for the lettered angle in the figure below. Okay, so we have a very simple diagram there, and quite simply what we actually have 3 angles now, but we still have adjacent angles on a straight line. And I tell you again that the sum of all 3 angles, so 35 degrees plus V plus 72 degrees, would give you 180 degrees. And then you just go ahead and say 57 degrees plus angle COD plus 72 degrees gives 180, which should suggest that 35 degrees, sorry, so which would suggest that COD equals 180 degrees minus 35 minus 72, and what you have in the end is you have COD equals 73 degrees. Simple. Okay, so here's another one. All right, and what we have here, I believe you agree with me, we have angles at a point. Okay, so we have this very simple diagram, and we've been asked to solve for angle F. Okay, so angle F, and basically we have POQ plus QOR plus ROS plus SOP. Okay, so all the angles there should equal 360 degrees because we have all the angles at a point. Now simply 48 plus QOR plus 110 plus 75 should give you 360 degrees. So to solve for the angle F, you just subtract all of that from 360 degrees, and you end up with angle QOR as 127 degrees. Really easy stuff. Okay, now let's go ahead and do, I think we have 2 more examples. Example 4. And example 4 says, solve for the lettered angle in the figure below. Okay, and I believe what we have here is we have vertically opposite angles. So quite simply, angle WOY would equal angle XOZ, and with WOY as 35 degrees, you'd agree with me that V in this case, or angle XOZ, equals 35 degrees. Simple, really easy. Now, final example, okay, and we have something quite interesting here. It looks vertically opposite, okay, it looks vertically opposite, but then it follows the path. But what we have, we don't have vertically opposite angles there, okay, because we have 42 degrees, and the angle vertically opposite to 42 degrees should be angle KOM, but then we've been asked to solve for B, angle JOK. Now, if you look closely, okay, and ignore the portion at the bottom there, just look at the line LK, okay, and you'd find that line JM is cutting through that line, okay, and you have intersecting point at O. You're forming two angles. Does this bring anything to mind? Yes, because what we have there is we actually have adjacent angles on a straight line. Okay, so we have 42 degrees. Angle LOJ plus angle JOK should give you 180 degrees. So you just go ahead and say 42 degrees plus JOK equals 180. JOK equals 180 minus 42 degrees. And what you have in the end is you have that JOK, or B in this case, is 138 degrees. And that would bring us to the end of this very simple lesson. And then we can go ahead now and solve questions in the worksheet. And yeah, bye for now.